There's something happening in Japan that most Western doctors won't tell you about. People over 65 in places like Okinawa and Nagano are living healthier, longer lives than almost anywhere else on Earth. We're not talking about a few extra months. We're talking about vibrant years where your joints still move, your mind stays sharp, and your energy doesn't vanish by lunchtime. The fascinating part? It's not expensive supplements or high-tech treatments. It's 6 simple daily habits, most of which take less than 5 minutes each, that you can start in your own home tomorrow morning. Now here's what caught my attention when I dug into the research. The Japanese approach to aging isn't about fighting your body or pushing through pain. It's about working with your natural rhythms, respecting what your joints and muscles need at this stage of life, and building tiny rituals that compound over months and years. The results speak for themselves. In some regions of Japan, the percentage of people over 85 who still live independently is nearly double what we see in the United States. Their rates of debilitating falls, cognitive decline, and chronic inflammation are significantly lower. And when researchers started breaking down what these folks do every single day, 6 patterns kept showing up again and again. Before we dive in, I'm curious. How old are you right now, and where are you watching this from? Drop your age and city in the comments. I love seeing who's part of this community, and it helps me understand what you need most. Here's how we'll walk through this. I'm going to give you all 6 habits in order, starting with the simplest and building to the one that surprised me the most. Number 6 is something you probably already do without realizing it, but with one small tweak it becomes incredibly powerful. Number 5 involves your breathing and takes about 90 seconds. Number 4 is a morning movement that's gentler than stretching but twice as effective for balance. Number 3 targets a part of your body that Western culture almost completely ignores. Number 2 is a practice that research from major universities has linked to better memory and mood, and it feels almost meditative. And number 1, it's a 30-second habit that can rewire how your nervous system responds to stress, and I've watched it change lives faster than anything else on this list. Let's start. Habit number 6 is what the Japanese call ashi no undu, which simply means foot exercises. Most of us spend our 60s and beyond barely thinking about our feet until something goes wrong. A bunion, a stumble, numbness. But in traditional Japanese homes, especially among older generations, there's a daily practice of sitting on the floor or on the edge of a chair and actively moving the feet through a series of small, deliberate motions. You point your toes forward as far as they'll go, then pull them back toward your shin. You roll your ankles in slow circles, first one direction, then the other. You spread your toes wide, then squeeze them together. The whole sequence takes maybe 3 minutes. Why does this matter? Your feet contain more than 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments. After 60, if those structures aren't challenged regularly, they stiffen. Blood flow decreases. Proprioception, which is your body's sense of where it is in space, starts to fade. That's when falls happen. Research from rehabilitation centers suggests that even short daily foot exercises can improve balance and reduce fall risk in older adults. The mechanism is straightforward. When you move your feet deliberately, you're sending signals up through your ankles, knees, and hips to your brain, reminding your nervous system how to stabilize you. Let me tell you about Margaret, 72, a retired librarian from Ohio. She came to me after 2 small falls in 6 months. Nothing broken, but she was terrified. Her confidence was gone. She didn't want to walk to the mailbox. I taught her this Japanese foot routine, and she did it every morning while drinking her coffee. 3 weeks later, she told me her ankles felt awake for the first time in years. 2 months later, she was gardening again. She said the difference wasn't dramatic in any single day, but over time it was like her feet remembered how to talk to her brain. Here's your protocol. Sit in a sturdy chair with your feet flat on the floor. Remove your shoes and socks. Start with 10 toe points and 10 toe pulls. Then 10 ankle circles in each direction. Then try to lift just your big toe while keeping the others down, and vice versa. If that's too hard, don't worry. Just do what you can. The goal is not perfection. The goal is daily attention. Do this every morning, And within a week, you'll notice your feet feel more alive when you walk. Now let's move to habit number 5. And this one involves your breath. In Japan, especially in practices influenced by Zen traditions, there's a breathing exercise called hara breathing, or tanden breathing. Hara refers to the lower belly, just below your navel. Tanden is an energy center in traditional medicine. You don't need to buy into any of that if it's not your style. What matters is the technique itself, and the science behind it is rock solid. Here's how it works. You sit comfortably, either on a chair or on a cushion on the floor. You place one hand on your chest and one hand on your lower belly. You breathe in slowly through your nose for a count of 4, and as you do, you let your belly expand like a balloon while your chest stays relatively still. Then you hold for a count of 2. Then you breathe out through your mouth for a count of 6, and your belly pulls back in. That's one cycle. You do this for 5 to 10 cycles, which takes about 90 seconds to 2 minutes. Why does this matter after 60? As we age, most of us shift to shallow chest breathing without realizing it. We're stressed, we're hunched forward from years of sitting, and our diaphragm, the big muscle under our lungs, gets lazy. Shallow breathing keeps your body in a low-grade fight-or-flight state. Your heart rate stays elevated. Cortisol, the stress hormone, lingers. Over time, this contributes to high blood pressure, poor sleep, and even cognitive fog. Deep belly breathing does the opposite. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest side. Studies from cardiology and neuroscience research suggest that just a few minutes of diaphragmatic breathing daily can lower blood pressure, improve heart rate variability, and help with anxiety. I worked with a man named Richard, 68, a former accountant. He had mild hypertension, and his doctor wanted to add a second medication. Richard was frustrated. He exercised, he ate well, but his numbers wouldn't budge. I taught him hara breathing and asked him to do it twice a day, once in the morning and once before bed. He was skeptical. But after 6 weeks, his systolic pressure dropped 8 points. His doctor was stunned. Richard kept going, and 3 months later he was off one of his meds entirely, with his doctor's approval. Here's your protocol. Set a timer for 90 seconds. Sit somewhere quiet. One hand on chest, one on belly. Inhale through your nose for 4 counts. Belly rises. Hold for 2. Exhale through your mouth for 6. Belly falls. Repeat. If 4-6 feels too long, try 3-5. The key is making your exhale longer than your inhale. That's what flips the nervous system switch. Do this first thing in the morning or right before bed, and you'll feel the difference in days. Let's talk about habit number 4, and this one is a morning movement called Ragyo Taiso, or radio calisthenics. You might have heard of it. It was introduced in Japan nearly 100 years ago, and it's still practiced in parks, schoolyards, and living rooms every single day. It's a series of simple, flowing movements set to music that takes about 6.5 minutes. You stretch your arms overhead, you twist your torso, you bend side to side, you do gentle knee lifts. Nothing strenuous. Nothing that should hurt. Why does this matter for people over 60? Because it gets every major joint in your body moving through its range of motion before the day hardens you into a chair or a car seat. Research on mobility and aging shows that older adults who move multiple joints in the morning maintain better flexibility and have fewer chronic pain complaints. The movements in Ragyo Taiso are specifically designed to be safe and accessible. There's no jumping, no fast twisting, no strain. The beauty of it is the routine. You're not thinking about what to do next. You're just following along. You can find videos of it online with English instructions. Many people in their 70s and 80s do a modified version, holding onto a chair for balance during the leg movements or doing smaller arm circles. That's completely fine. The goal is movement, not performance. Let me tell you about Linda, 66, who used to wake up so stiff she could barely get out of bed without wincing. She had arthritis in her hips and knees, and her mornings were miserable. She tried Ragyo Taiso after watching a video I recommended, and she did it every morning for 2 weeks. She told me that by day 10 she was getting out of bed without that first wave of pain. Her joints felt looser. Her mood improved because she wasn't starting every day in discomfort. 6 months later, she's still doing it, and she says it's non-negotiable now. It's like oiling a hinge every morning so it doesn't rust. Here's your protocol. Search for Raggio Taiso for Seniors on YouTube. Find a version that's 6 to 7 minutes long with clear instructions. Do it every morning right after you get up, or after your foot exercises and breathing. If a movement feels wrong or painful, skip it or do half the range of motion. Consistency beats intensity. Do this 6 days a week, and within a month your body will thank you. Now we get to habit number 3, and this one might feel strange at first, but stay with me. It's called kokan massage, which means pelvic floor massage or attention. In the West, we almost never talk about the pelvic floor unless something goes wrong, like incontinence or prolapse. But in traditional Japanese health practices, there's an understanding that the muscles at the base of your pelvis are crucial for posture, balance, core stability, and yes, bladder control. The habit is simple. Once a day, usually in the evening, you lie on your back with your knees bent and feet flat on the floor or on your bed. You take a few deep breaths, and then you gently contract the muscles you'd use to stop the flow of urine. You hold that contraction for 5 seconds, then release for 5 seconds. That's 1 repetition. You do 10 repetitions. The whole thing takes 2 minutes. Why does this matter? After 60, especially for women but also for men, the pelvic floor weakens. Hormones change. Muscle tone decreases. Connective tissue loosens. This leads to leaks when you cough or sneeze, trouble holding your bladder on long car rides, and even lower back pain because your core can't stabilize properly. Studies from urology and physical therapy literature show that regular pelvic floor exercises can significantly reduce incontinence and improve quality of life in older adults. The exercises are often called Kegels in the West, but the Japanese approach adds a meditative, daily ritual element to it rather than treating it like a clinical prescription. I remember working with a woman named Patricia, 70, who was so embarrassed by occasional leaks that she stopped going to her weekly book club. She didn't want to risk an accident in public. I taught her the kokan routine, and she committed to doing it every night before bed. After 3 weeks, she noticed she could hold her bladder longer. After 2 months, the leaks stopped almost entirely. She went back to her book club and told me it gave her a piece of her life back. Here's your protocol. Lie on your back, knees bent, feet flat. Relax your belly and breathe normally. Contract your pelvic floor as if stopping urine midstream. Don't squeeze your glutes or abs, just the pelvic muscles. Hold for 5 seconds. Release for 5. Repeat 10 times. Do this once a day, every day. If you're not sure you're doing it right, ask your doctor or a pelvic floor physical therapist for guidance. There's no shame in it, and the payoff is huge. Let's move to habit number 2, and this one has a beautiful name. It's called Jodo, or Japanese calligraphy practice, but the modern adaptation for older adults is simpler. It's about slow, deliberate hand movements with a pen or brush, often tracing characters or simple shapes. You sit at a table with a piece of paper and a pen or a brush, and you slowly draw lines, circles, or kanji characters. The movement is controlled, mindful, and repetitive. You're not trying to create art. You're training your hand-eye coordination and your focus. Why does this matter after 60? Fine motor skills decline with age. Your hands might shake a little. Your handwriting gets messier. But more importantly, activities that combine focus, hand movement, and visual tracking have been linked in research to better cognitive function. There's evidence from neuroscience studies that practicing fine motor tasks activates areas of the brain involved in memory and executive function. It's like physical therapy for your brain. The meditative aspect matters too. When you're focused on moving a brush slowly across paper, your mind isn't racing. You're present. That kind of focused attention, even for 5 or 10 minutes a day, has been associated with lower anxiety and improved mood in older adults. I worked with a man named George, 74, a retired engineer. He was sharp as a tack but struggled with mild anxiety and restless evenings. He couldn't sit still. I suggested he try simple brush drawing for 10 minutes every night. He thought it sounded silly, but he tried it. He bought a cheap set of brushes and ink, and he started tracing basic shapes and letters. After a week, he said his mind felt quieter. After a month, his wife told me he seemed calmer and slept better. He's been doing it for over a year now, and he says it's his favorite part of the day. Here's your protocol. Get a notebook and a smooth pen. Or if you want to go traditional, get a basic calligraphy brush set online. Sit at a table in a quiet space. Set a timer for 5 to 10 minutes. Draw slow, deliberate lines, circles, or copy simple characters. Focus on the movement of your hand and the feel of the pen on paper. Don't judge the result, just do it. Do this once a day, ideally in the evening when you want to wind down. Within 2 weeks, you'll notice your hands feel steadier and your mind feels clearer. Now we arrive at habit number 1, and this is the one that I've seen create the fastest, most profound changes in people over 65. It's called Shinrin-yoku, which translates to forest bathing. But don't worry, you don't need a forest. The core of the practice is simply spending time in nature, moving slowly and engaging your senses. You walk outside not for exercise but for presence. You notice the light through the trees or the clouds. You listen to birds or wind. You touch the bark of a tree or feel grass under your feet. You breathe the air. You do this for 15 to 30 minutes and you do it almost every day. Why does this matter so much? Because nature exposure has been shown in study after study to lower cortisol, reduce blood pressure, improve immune function, and even increase something called natural killer cell activity, which helps your body fight infection and disease. The Japanese have been researching Shinrin-yoku for decades, and the findings are consistent. People who spend regular time in natural settings report better mental health, less chronic pain, and greater life satisfaction. For people over 60, the benefits are even more pronounced because stress and isolation are such big risk factors for decline. The magic isn't in the exercise. It's in the nervous system reset. When you're in nature, your brain shifts out of the constant vigilance of modern life. Traffic, screens, noise, deadlines, all of that fades. Your body relaxes at a deep level. Inflammation decreases. Sleep improves. And if you do this regularly, the effects build. Let me tell you about Dorothy, 69, a former nurse. She came to me exhausted, anxious, and struggling with insomnia. She felt disconnected from everything. I told her about Shinrin-yoku and suggested she spend 20 minutes every morning in a nearby park, just walking slowly and paying attention. No phone, no music, just her and the trees. She was doubtful, but she tried it. Within 1 week, she told me she slept through the night for the first time in months. Within a month, her anxiety had dropped noticeably. She said it felt like her body remembered how to be calm. 2 years later, she still does it, rain or shine, and she calls it her medicine. Here's your protocol. Find a natural space near you. A park, a trail, your backyard, even a tree-lined street. Go there in the morning or late afternoon when it's quiet. Leave your phone in your pocket or at home. Walk slowly, much slower than you think you should. Stop often. Look at things. Listen. Touch a leaf or a stone. Breathe deeply. Do this for 15 to 30 minutes. Do it 5 to 6 days a week. If mobility is an issue, sit on a bench in a park for 20 minutes and just observe. The key is presence and repetition. Within 2 weeks, you'll feel a shift. Within 2 months, it'll change how you experience your day. So, there they are. 6 daily Japanese habits that people over 65 have used for generations to stay mobile, calm, and sharp. Foot exercises to wake up your balance. Belly breathing to calm your nervous system. Ragio Taiso to move your joints. Pelvic floor work to protect your core and confidence. Slow hand movements to train your brain. And time in nature to reset everything. You don't have to do all 6 at once. Start with 1. Maybe it's the breathing because it's fast and you can do it right now. Or maybe it's the morning walk in nature because you already love being outside. Pick one, commit to it for 2 weeks, and then add another. These aren't treatments. They're rhythms. They're tiny investments that compound into years of vitality. Which one will you try first, and why? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one, and I'd love to hear what resonates with you.